you doing?
This is where I last saw her.
This is morbid, Papa.
Her last day at the dials. The other girls, they threw her a little party. 30 to 40 girls on the floor. Then me, watching over them.
We shouldn't be in here. This building has been condemned.
That business with the brushes, I didn't invent that. It was von Sahatsky's process, his invention.
It was years ago, Papa.
People blamed me for that. But I wasn't the technical man. I had my shareholders to think about. Ladies and gentlemen, we stand today at the threshold of a new era. An era of ingenuity, an era of possibility, marked by the marriage of commerce and science. Radium, my friends, is the fruit of that marriage. And like the automobile before it, like the telephone and the telegraph, this miracle element began as a mere novelty and is now a necessity of daily life. Luminous watches, luminous dials. Those were the agents of victory in Europe. And now, radium is about to become the agent of a new victory. The coming victory over cancer.
Arthur, what a day.
Dan, what did I tell you? They love us.
Did you see von Sahatsky? Why does the sheet? He's here, back in the hall. I'm surprised he had been married.
Hold on, boys. Miss Wiley, what a pleasant surprise. Charlie, Dan, you remember Miss Wiley of the Consumers League?
Gentlemen,
Miss Wiley was our valued partner in last spring's laundry crisis.
Miss Wiley, no more complaints, I hope, from the housewives.
the laundry is fine. Thank you, Dr. Leggett.
Ought to be. We spent a lot of money on those filters.
The fact is, I'm here on that other matter.
Your letter. If you haven't noticed, this isn't exactly the best time, Miss Wiley.
I was hoping you might answer the immediate question.
I'll answer it. There's no white phosphorus in any of the paint, Miss Wiley.
But the young lady's condition.
There's no white phosphorus anywhere on the property.
Then how do you explain the bone decay in her jaw?
This is one of our girls we're talking about.
Former employee, left us about 2 years ago.
Then why don't you talk to her current employer?
She's not working currently. She's too ill.
Look, Miss Wiley, I'm sorry to hear it, but let me assure you, we are taking your concerns very seriously.
We're consulting with the Harvard School of Industrial Medicine.
You mean Dr. Drinker?
You know him.
Fairly well. The chair of our league is a colleague of his.
Then we can agree. Whatever Dr. Drinker concludes, you will be satisfied.
I expect so. Thank you, Mr. Roeder. Gentlemen,
Have some cake, Miss Wiley.
Whatever the trouble is, it can't be anything at the plant.
We'll look into it. Meanwhile, Charlie, you just keep smiling.
You should have seen it, Grace. The church was filled with flowers. Lilies and hyacinths and orchids. You know how Amelia loved orchids. Those were flags. Orchids. Flags. I know an orchid when I see one, I mean. Purple orchids. And Grace, that smell. That smell, it was like flowers. Like heaven. What I was going to say. Like heaven.
Like heaven? Catherine, it was just a funeral. You make it out like it was some kind of Valentino picture.
It wasn't just a funeral. It was Amelia's. And it was lovely. The company sent flowers too. Just a big spray of carnations.
Sounds like a nice service anyhow.
Surprised you wasn't there. What happened? Tom keep you out to the lake? To the picture?
It wasn't near that exciting. Ma had work to do, so I took the kids to the park.
girls, girls! The whistles are Grace, something you wish to say.
Dr. Von Sahutsky told me not to do that. Says it's unsanitary.
Unsanitary. I can't hardly believe he'd say such a thing. The man invented the paint. Also, you're not to be sharing brushes. Each girl is to have her own brush and is not to get a new one until the old one is so bad it can't make a point anymore.
How can you make a quota like that?
It's not for us to be asking questions, is it, girls? It's for us to do the work.
It's not for us to be asking questions.
Here's an instruction for you, McNeil. Let some of the starch out of your corset. Was she even at the service?
McNeil? Are you kidding?
Dr. Von Sahutsky was, though, and Mr. Roeder. Oh, and you know that one fella from Crystallizing, one with the red hair?
The tall one with the freckles?
Jerry. I think it's George.
It's Jerry. Jerry Mallon. He's the one always talking to Amelia in the day room.
Well, anyway, after the service, he goes like this. He goes.
Really? Really? So what if he did?
So what? He was in love with her, that's so what. Don't you think so, Grace?
He had to be if he did that.
And can you imagine if he loved her, never told her, never could bring himself to say, because she was so beautiful. He was so shy. Now he can't. He'll never get the chance again.
Poor Amelia.
Poor Amelia.
Poor kid.
Her family took it awful bad, Grace. Every one of them crying. Even her father just bawling like a baby.
And you know why?
Because their daughter had died.
What she died from.
Don't go spreading stories.
It's not a story. Her sister told us. No reason Grace should know.
Know what? What? Amelia?
Her father's fit to be tied to. 6 girls at home and none of them ever going to a dance again. All because Amelia up to die from syphilis. I can't help it if that's what she died from.
But Amelia was ever so nice.
Because she got around more than we knew.
Girls, your attention, please. The gentlemen have an announcement to make.
And to explain some changes, yes?
Yes, as you may have heard, Dr. Von Sahutsky is stepping down as company president, so he wanted to take this opportunity
To make it goodbye. Ladies, some of you I've known since you were little girls. Coming here during the war to work. 200, 300, 500 dials a day.
Thank you, Doctor.
Yes, thank you, Doctor. Now, girls, the doctor is a very busy man, and he must be on his way. So, let us wish him the best of luck in his new business ventures.
And Mr. Roder, let us good luck wish to you also. With the new direction you intend the company to take,
New direction?
with the slowdown in dial
Now, Doctor,
and business moving to the medical market, there will be lots of changes, yes?
what the doctor is trying to say is some of our larger customers are setting up their own dial painting studios.
Which means less work for our girls here.
In the short run, yes. However, the Waterbury Clock Company needs some help setting up their new studio. We planned on making the announcement next week. We'll make it today. Mrs. McNeil?
We were planning on asking some of you girls to go up there. Catherine Shaw was one, and Louise Conlon. I have the list downstairs.
We'll post it later today. Now, girls, as we are all on the clock, we'll leave you to your work.
Thank you, ladies. My best wishes to you.
And get back to work.
Are you gonna do it, Catherine? Are you gonna take the job?
I mean, I will if you do.
Tommy would have a fit.
Just for a few months. It'll be fun.
I agree.
Honey, are you right?
Sure, I'm alright. Why wouldn't I be? What?
Your mouth is bleeding.
my age, with the house full of kids. You'll thank God for every penny you put by.
We got money put by.
How much?
Enough to get married on.
Is it enough to stay married on?
You let's get married and we'll find out.
You're still eating, Tommy?
It's
You
good.
gotta get fat.
Gotta keep his strength up. He works hard for his money.
Oh, don't start, Mom.
I didn't say nothing. It was your father with the roof over it. Most girls give their eye teeth for a job like that.
Mom!
Good money, easy work. Lots of nice looking fellows around the plants.
You didn't tell me about that, Grace.
And Upsy quits the place. I'm tired of it, she says. Are you tired of a paycheck, I says. Who needs a paycheck, she says. I got me a boyfriend to take me out Saturdays.
She said that?
Oh, you know I didn't. And for your information, I got a job. I start at the bank on Monday.
How much does it pay?
Enough.
Enough. You know what that means, Tommy. It don't come close to what they paid at the Radium plant.
It's office work.
Office work. Yes, that means you'll be spending more money on clothes.
Oh!
Boy, she steamed at you.
I don't see what difference it makes. So long as I'm working somewhere.
Don't make no difference to me. Just thought you liked it up there.
Sure, I liked it, but I've been up there 4 years.
So? I've been delivering mail for 8 years. Plan to keep on delivering mail another 20 or 30 years, if I'm lucky. Steady work, Grace. Helps you sleep at night.
Close your eyes.
What for?
I got a surprise for you.
You want me to pull the shades?
Not that kind of surprise, silly. Close your eyes. Now look.
Wallpaper.
For the baby's room.
The baby's room? You won't kiss me and you're talking about babies?
There's gonna be babies eventually, Tommy.
Well, sure, but you know, Grace, most girls get married before they decorate the nursery.
Plan ahead for once. Pick one.
They're both the same.
No, they're not. This one has big flowers, and that one has little flowers. So pick one.
Some kind of test.
It's just wallpaper.
It is some kind of test.
Pick one, Tommy.
That one.
Really?
The other one, then.
Which do you like, though?
But they're both nice.
This one's pretty, don't you think?
That one,
But I want you to like it, too.
Wallpaper is wallpaper. If you like it, I'll like it.
No, it isn't. You gotta pick something you can stand to look at for 20 years.
Same way you pick women.
Keep it up, smarty pants. You ain't ever gonna get that kiss.
All right. This one. This one, hands down.
I like it too. A nice neutral yellow goes with either a boy or a girl. And until the baby comes, you can use the room for other things.
Yeah? Like for what?
Like a painting studio, maybe?
Painting studio, maybe. I thought you got enough of painting at the Radium plant.
Not the kind I wanted to do, Tommy. I just want some time. Just a little time to myself so as I can do watercolors. Or oils, maybe. Or maybe portraits in oil. I could paint you a picture if you like.
Sure, paint a big picture of me. We'll hang it in the outhouse, and all our friends will come around to use the can just so they can look at it.
The way you talk sometimes.
Grace, you want to paint pictures, I ain't gonna stop ya.
You say that now, Tommy. But wait till you come home some night. All wore out. Some Christmas maybe, when every customer on your routes had 3 times the mail. And maybe some dog took after you. And some old lady kept you waiting on her stoop, telling you all about her grandchildren. And you wouldn't have the heart to tell her you couldn't talk. I know you. So you come home all cranky and late besides, hungry, wanting your dinner. And there I am with my easel set up in the kitchen, and my drop cloth on the floor, and my paints all over the table. And your dinner, nowhere in sight. What would you say then?
Well, better be a picture of me you're painting.
I know what you'd say. Where's my dinner? That's what you'd say. Where's my dinner?
Well, sure, I'd still admire the painting. Just want to look at it on a full stomach is all. So, how'd I do? Pick the right wallpaper.
I don't know. Maybe I'll go look at stripes.
Stripes, polka dots, I don't care. Tell your mom we ain't gonna wait no more. We'll just run off.
Tommy, we are not running off. We're gonna do this right. A nice church wedding with flowers and music. And then a week at the seashore. Just us. And after that, we'll get set up in our own place. You'll see. It'll be worth the wait.
Your mouth hurts ya?
Dentist wants to pull another tooth. In the back.
Well, what's a tooth?
Grandfather?
You think this is funny?
She's 9 years old.
I'm trying to raise a daughter, not a son.
Time is on your side. In another year or two, she'll lose all interest in trees and develop a fascination with boys.
What's this?
Something to give you vitality.
You think I need vitality?
That's what it says on the bottom.
Is it pure?
We're his supplier. Want to try it?
If it could give me vitality, how can I refuse? Your father came by to see me today.
Another hard luck case?
4 children at home, all under the age of 6.
And the father's been laid off from, let's see, the brickyard?
How did you know?
He came to see me yesterday. It's never enough of them to have ordinary ambitions. You have to have a mission in life.
And you do.
And I can't hand out jobs that don't exist.
What about Dan Lehman?
Dan?
Couldn't he use some assistance in the laboratory?
Dan needs trained technicians, not some bricklayer.
There must be something you can do.
I can get my checkbook.
Artie, the man needs a job, not charity. What is it your father says? A working man needs to work. It wears on his soul.
It wears on his soul not to work. All right. If it's a matter of the soul, that's different. I'll talk to Dan.
You're a good man, Artie.
You do love being married to the company president.
It has its advantages.
I make no promises, Diane.
No promises.
To your health.
Rudolph. Rudolph? The girl I'm asking about. Irene Rudolph. She's my cousin.
Did she file a complaint?
No, the dentist.
Dr. Neff.
He said she might have flossy jaw like they got in the match factories. And he was going to file a complaint to the health department. But it's been 6 months and we haven't heard.
Flossy jaw. Catherine, maybe it was like Irene's doctor said. Maybe it was a blood infection.
But what was it from?
Dirt. You get infections from dirt.
From dirt? Her face puffed up like a pumpkin. Her jaw rotted so bad she couldn't eat no more. You think you get that from a little dirt? Get that from phosphorus.
Phosphorus.
Go ahead and laugh. Don't laugh so hard when it's you in here 6 months from now asking after Grace.
It was just a toothache, Catherine.
That's how it started for Irene. Soon you'll be so weak you can't stand up. Your gums will be so sore you can't open
Stop
your
it,
mouth.
Catherine!
Your face so swollen you can't.
I said stop it!
Yeah. A toothache. A toothache and a backache. And what else was it you said, Grace? Sore leg that won't quit.
What's sore leg?
It's from my new job at the bank. From standing all day.
It's not from the bank in the milk.
Irene Rudolph?
Nothing.
Huh?
The company is in full compliance with all state health and labor regulations. See for yourself.
Paint is a harmless compound of radium and zinc.
They also screened a number of the employees, and the blood work was all normal. There's a copy of the report right there. It's a Harvard study.
Well, let's get some lunch.
I want to file for a complaint.
Oh, brother.
Catherine, these folks. They're awful busy here.
3 surgeries, Grace. And they wanted to cut her again. She said no. She knew what was left of her job was running so bad. I couldn't look at her. Irene was so afraid of being alone, and I left her alone. She died in the middle of the night, and no one was with her.
I'm sorry. Can we have another form, please? Is the girl still sick? She died.
Wait right here.
Miss Fryer?
Dr. Flynn, it's awful nice of you to see me.
Not at all, my dear.
I told my surgeon I was coming by, so he gave me the results of my blood work.
Very good. I must say, Miss Fryer, your blood looks better than mine.
It does?
That's what happens to an old man who smokes. Now, tell me, what else is troubling you?
My feet and my back, mostly. I've had to wear a back brace for about 6 months now.
And this started before you left the company? Or after?
After.
And you left the plant when?
2 years ago now. My dentist, Dr. Neff, he says this all has to do with the radium. I know another girl who died. Irene Rudolph?
Rudolph. Oh, yes, terrible thing. Vincent's angina. It's an ulcerated condition of the mouth, my dear.
From the radium?
No, a rare and unfortunate result of poor dental care. Let that be a lesson to you. Always brush your teeth.
There was something else about this in the newspapers. Something about other girls who got sick.
Miss Fryer, don't tell me you pay any attention to the things they put in the newspapers. What? Those stories are not scientific. No, you must listen to science and ignore the nonsense in the newspapers. Because I can tell you right now that radium has nothing to do with what's ailing you.
Then what is ailing me?
Poor diet, Miss Fryer. Poor diet.
But Dr. Neff said.
You must eat more fresh fruit.
Hard to do in the winter.
And raw meat. That will help the anemia. Raw calf's liver, especially. No, I'm a scientist, Miss Fryer, and I take a purely scientific interest in your case. By allowing me to examine you, you've helped to further my studies. I thank you. Call me anytime, day or night.
All right, Dr. Flynn. Thank you.
Happy to help, my dear.
Dr. Frederick Flynn, PhD, Physiology, Columbia University. PhD? That's not a real doctor.
My findings, Mr. Roeder?
Word on the street is he's working for the company. He's seen half a dozen girls already.
An objective evaluation, I trust?
The source of my funding has no bearing on my research.
And I let that fella examine me.
It's not a medical examination. No, I merely consulted with her.
Then how do you plan on doing the rest of the report?
The animal studies I conducted revealed no adverse effects from the radium. The problem, as you suspected, is one of personal hygiene.
It's It's exactly the way you said, Catherine. Those people will say anything. They'll do anything.
Except the right thing.
Well, we're going to make them, Catherine. We are going to make sure someone hears about this.
My statement of fees and expenses.
Mr. Lee will write you a check.
And so, ladies and gentlemen, we do not have to accept injustice. We can use our powers as consumers to influence the practices of those who would wish to profit from our patronage. Thank you.
Miss Wiley, I'm Grace Fryer. The health department said you might be able to help me.
Oh, my goodness, yes, Miss Fryer. I've been meaning to call on you. Please, sit down.
Me and my friend Catherine, we wrote to the company about our troubles, but we never heard back. So we went to see a couple lawyers about it.
They all said it's too late.
Something about the law won't allow it.
It's the statute of limitations. It's 2 years.
And one lawyer, he wanted $1,000 up front. But I had already spent every penny I saved on our wedding, what with doctors and dentists and hospitals. And I still don't know what's wrong. Exactly. And Tom here, he says he don't care.
We just need to settle her debts.
So as we can get on with things.
So if we could get her some compensation.
Do you think we could?
Miss Fryer, just how far are you willing to go with this?
Ma'am?
Suppose I do find a lawyer to take your case, and he says, all right, here's some money for you. Only you're to tell no one what we've discussed.
Confidential settlement.
That don't seem right.
It isn't right, but that's what they'll do. They will try to buy your silence. Is it for sale?
No, ma'am.
Miss Fryer, if you would be willing to put your personal needs aside for the moment, we can stop that company dead in its tracks.
How?
We'll hit them where it matters most, their public image. When every newspaper in America tells your story, how you were sorely treated, how you suffered, how the company denied all responsibility. Oh, believe me, Miss Fryer, Arthur Roeder will come to the table with his hat in his hands.
And then I'd get my compensation?
I know. It's a little frightening.
Yes, but right now I'm more angry than I am scared.
Good. You hang on to that anger, Miss Fryer. You're going to need it. Only be sure that no one sees it.
Ma'am?
Public sympathy, Miss Fryer. That's our strongest weapon. And right now, the public doesn't have much sympathy for an angry woman.
December 4th, 1927. Julia Youngwood reporting from the Newark Ledger, the world's first source for news. Nancy Day Harlan for the New York Graphic. The New York Graphic's only girl reporter. On the strange case of the Radium girls, who claim they were poisoned at the hands of their employer.
Well, if you're asking me, it's all a sham.
What do you mean?
Those girls are very sick. Sick of working, sure.
Doctors say the Radium girls have only a year to live. Only 1 year to live and 250 grand to spend. What would you do with that kind of money? What would you do with $250,000? I'd buy a wardrobe like Irene Castle.
I'd give it all to charity. I'd hit the stock market. I'd buy a diamond ring the size of New Hampshire.
I'd use it to pay my medical bills and pay down the second mortgage on our house. The one my father took out to pay for my last operation.
Pretty Grace Fryer sits at home, suffering bravely through this entire ordeal.
It hurts to smile, but I try to smile. I know that if I don't smile, I'll go crazy.
But it must get to you sometimes.
considering what you've been through. And the company getting fat off your labor, and all they have to say about it is?
No comments. I'd rather just think about how it's going to be when justice prevails.
What a fine example of womanhood. We can only hope to bear a cross in life as nobly as you do.
Mr. Barry, I've been in this game for a long time, and I know when a lawyer tries his case in the papers, there isn't much of a case.
What's your proposal, Mr. Markley?
$1,500 for each girl.
That's not even a year's wages.
I think it's very generous considering your case won't survive the statute of limitations.
We believe the court will find it does.
The court can't change the law 2 years after the date of the injury.
2 years after the date that the cause of the injury is discovered.
Very clever, Mr. Markley. I admire your imagination. But you've got a long way to go before you convince the judges.
And in the meantime, Mr. Markley, the press will continue to take a great interest in this story and in the U.S. Radium Corporation's complete indifference to its workers.
More good press for the Consumers League, and you accuse us of exploiting these girls.
Ah, the arrogance of that man!
Tell me again the purposes of these articles.
Public sympathy, Mr. Barry. That's the engine of reform.
But how does it help the girls to read every day that they only have a year left to live?
Mr. Barry, surely you can see. The company cares nothing about the girls it poisoned. The average housewife cares very much. These women shop. They buy watches. Markley can be as smug as he likes, but the Consumer League campaign is working, and he knows it. That's why he was here today.
I hope you're right, Miss Wiley.
Public sympathy, Mr. Barry. Wait and see.
Dear Miss Shaw, I read of your sad story in the Boston Globe, and I'm sorry for your plight. I would like to share with you girls the key to my own good health at the age of 92. It's called Christian Science.
you deserve a few fleeting moments of happiness. Sincerely, your admirer, Leonard F. Watkins. P.S. Enclosed is my enclosed is my picture.
You all right?
Leaving again.
Maybe we should go. We need your sleep.
Afraid to sleep. Might not wake up.
Look at all this mail, Catherine. Miss Wiley said folks would be on our side, and she sure was
What
right.
if we don't?
Oh, of course we'll win.
What if we don't? We'll be on the street and you and Tommy won't ever get married.
Catherine, all we gotta do is get on the stand. Just think about the look on Mr. Roeder's face when the judge rules for us.
They didn't have no vanilla, so I got some chocolate.
Took you long enough.
Don't get on me. I had 6 people stop me on the way here. All of them reporters, and all of them asking for you.
Waiting for me to die.
No one was waiting for you to die.
It's true. One of them called my mother, asking to see if I had died yet. When she said no, I sounded disappointed.
Evening, girls. How about a picture?
For the love of Mike, what are you doing?
We need some pictures for the graphics exclusive.
What exclusive?
Perhaps you're familiar with Bernard McFadden.
Who, that faith healer?
Herbalist, Mr. Greeter, herbalist. Of Bernard McFadden's patented herbal therapy. It's just the thing to get you girls back on your feet, and the graphic will pay for it. All we ask is the exclusive rights to your story from here on out.
Grace, they're serious.
You want to pay us $5,000 to go see Bernard McFadden? Easy money, huh?
Let me see.
Grace, what's your father owe in the house?
I don't know exactly.
That last hospital bill. A couple hundred at least.
At least.
And all we have to do is talk to this herbalist fella?
Well, the graphic will have to get its money's worth. A regular series of features, with pictures, of course, following the course of your illness, treatment, recovery, and/or otherwise.
And you print whatever you want.
Maybe we'll add color. Everybody's adding color.
Not interested.
Grace, you take it from the company.
The company owes us a lot more than that.
If we ever see it.
Listen, Grace, you're gonna have to talk to them reporters anyhow. You might as well get something out of it.
He's right, you know. You girls can cash in big on this. Anybody can sympathize with the plight of some poor girl facing certain death with no hope of fulfillment in motherhood.
I'd like you to go. Now. My friend here is sick. She needs her rest.
Grace, at least think about it.
Sure, I understand. You're worried what people will say. But hey, watch out for number 1. That's the way. Why should you worry about keeping your nose clean when everybody else is up to their elbows in it?
Gentlemen, I have treated a number of the girls who claim they got sick here. One of them, the girl's jaw rotted so bad, I just lifted the bone out of her mouth.
Oh, that's all right, Dr. Neff. You can put that away now.
Perhaps you'd like to look at it on the X-ray, Dr. Lee. This was an expensive case to treat, and I never did get no compensation.
I sympathize, Dr. Neff, but what has that to do with us?
Here it is straight. There's going to be a lot more girls saying they got sick here. So maybe we can play ball. You give me a list of girls that worked here, and I'll see to it that there ain't no more lawsuits.
Oh, you think you can cure them?
I couldn't put out a cure. No, I would examine them and come up with a favorable diagnosis. Diarrhea, say, or something else.
You'd persuade them not to sue.
Correct. Quite a few will die a natural death. The others, we put off until the statute of limitations kicks in.
Why would these girls come to you?
Anybody would, charge them nothing.
Because we'd be paying them.
We understand each other, Mr. Roeder.
What exactly are you asking, Dr. Nash?
$10,000 for my troubles so far. $2 for every visit, plus expenses.
Absolutely not. Your proposal is immoral, and we will have no part in it.
Immoral? You're a fine one to be talking about morals when you've got your own hired guns ready to testify.
Those are expert witnesses.
Paying lackeys more
Good
like
day! Dr. Neff, Mr. Lee will see you to the door.
All right. So you won't play ball with me? Somebody else will. Believe me, there's plenty of other folks wanting what I got.
Charlie, Dan, I want you to make statements on what happened this morning. We'll send them to the State Dental Society.
Neff will see us playing ball.
Who is it?
Maybe we shouldn't be so quick to shake this off.
What are you proposing?
Retain him as an expert, like Flynn.
Dan, Dr. Flynn is a highly respected professor at Columbia University. Neff is some neighborhood dentist.
He treated some of the girls.
He consulted with them. He didn't treat them.
He dispensed medical advice, Arthur.
It wasn't medical advice. There was a scientific opinion.
For which he was well paid. We do the same with Neff. It will keep him quiet.
This is getting out of hand.
We can handle Neff.
Neff isn't the problem. It's von Sahotsky.
What about von Sahotsky?
He's going to testify for the girls.
Okay, whatever they're offering him, we just offer more.
You don't understand guilt, do you, Charlie? Let me explain something to you. A guilty man has a tremendous need to unburden himself. What von Sahotsky needs is to be free. So he will never testify for us, no matter what we offer.
Every penny I put by in this company. In the past few years, I've sunk into this company. Why? Because of you, Arthur.
We were fooled, Charlie.
You said it was a sure thing. Why work for von Sahotsky when we can work for ourselves? Remember that one?
Charlie, please. Von Sahotsky fooled us all. All we can do now is clean it up the best we can.
And you better hope this whole thing stops in civil court. Because once it comes to criminal charges, don't count on me.
Criminal charges? For what?
He didn't tell you? Drinker's report?
What about Drinker's report?
Hey, it was proprietary. We were under no obligation to share anything.
We did share it with the Department of Labor.
He sent what they needed to see. Right, Arthur? Arthur?
My God.
Scientists, government men, they have no idea what it takes to run a business. Von Sahotsky laughed at the very idea of promotion. But look at us. We are the world's largest supplier of radium. The largest in the world. You know how long it took for us to get here. Do you think that I could stand idly by while our good name is being dragged through the mud?
With the Department of Labor, Arthur.
We just needed a little bit of time, Dan.
Show us down for this.
Just a little bit of time to set things right.
You want more time? Look at this. It's new evidence, right? Surely they can do something with this.
Three months to study an X-ray.
It's outrageous!
Mr. Barry.
How are we going to hold out for 3 more months? The girls could barely make it to court today. And Grace, what am I to say to her? Go home, get some rest, that's the best I can do?
Perhaps this will help. It came in the afternoon mail.
Catherine Drinker? Any relation to Cecil Drinker?
She's his wife, and a respected industrial hygienist in her own right. She worked with him on his study.
Haven't we already seen this report?
You've only seen part of it. This is the complete report. Mrs. Drinker was particularly disturbed to read the article in the Ledger where Mr. Broder says her study clears the company.
They doctored the report.
Broder pulled out a single page listing the blood conditions of the healthiest employees and passed it off as the whole thing. Doesn't look so bad by itself, does it?
We can use this.
And that should impress the judge.
Miss Wiley, I'm not going to wait 3 months to make use of this. Call on your friends at the New York World. If Broder won't let us present our evidence in court, you can read about it in the newspaper.
Very bad.
Did you read it?
I make a point not to these days.
At the club today, someone actually said to me, "Is it true? Did your husband really poison those women?" I said, "Mrs. Middleton, if you thought it was true, why would you associate with me?"
What do you want me to say, Diane? I knew we were poisoning people, but we didn't want to stop because we were making so much money.
Is it true?
Is that what you think?
What would you like me to think?
For God's sake, Diane, don't you see what's going on here? It's Von Zahotsky. He's jealous of our success. And he's been feeding information to the Consumers League so they can railroad us.
Why would the Consumers
A
League?
bunch of radical women do-gooders. Half of them Reds, probably. Socialists. That's what they are. Same thing as that club you belong to.
I can't, I'm sorry.
You're going to quit that
Oh,
club.
quit the club!
And stop talking to that idiot Mrs. Middleton. She doesn't know anything.
You're not making any sense!
None of these women know anything. You don't know anything.
Did you lie to the Department of Labor?
I had a fiduciary duty to the company.
I can't listen to this.
Diane, I have documents. Articles, people with tumors the size of baseballs. Radium therapy, the tumors disappeared.
I'm tired, I'm going upstairs.
You can't really think I'm a liar, Diane. You can't really believe that I would set out to poison people.
13 girls have died!
People die every day. Young, old, children. Children younger than Harriet die every day.
But they worked for you.
They also worked for other places, Diane. I have a report from Dr. Frederick Flynn, an expert in industrial hygiene, who says there is no correlation between our plant and these illnesses.
Then what could the cause be?
I don't know, Diane. I really don't know. Please, say you believe me. If you don't believe me, well then there's no point to any.
Artie,
We save lives.
you save lives.
It's all for you. You know that, don't you? Everything I do, it's always for you.
Is that Mr. Reed?
Let that be another reporter.
Arthur!
Charlie, for God's sake!
I just got off the phone with the Ledger. It's Dan. He's dead, Arthur.
What are you talking about?
But we just saw him last week.
He died this morning.
But they were just here. Dan and Louise were just here.
They've already done the autopsy. A severe anemia. The Ledger is running on a page 1.
For blaming the radium.
I told them we would issue a statement at 8 o'clock.
Oh, poor Louise, we should go see her. We should go see her right now.
I want to do that.
Why ever not?
She's planning to sue.
Louise!
She's filing a wrongful death action. Now, I've worked up a statement for the paper. Dr. Daniel Lehman, company chemist for 8 years, always in poor health, recently declined.
But Dad was never sickly. He was always sailing, or on the golf course, or in the garden. He kept a beautiful garden.
Charlie, let's talk about this in the morning, shall we?
Of course. Sorry for bringing you the bad news.
Charlie can be a bit excessive at times.
You needn't explain.
Diane, I have to say something. The shareholders will expect it.
We're getting rid of this!
Diane?
We will have no more of it in our house!
I'm in too far to quit.
I really didn't expect you to.
We should have took that reporter up on her offer when we had the chance. That's what we should have done.
$5,000. Don't make me laugh.
And I'll tell you what else we should have done. We should have talked her up too, because they'd have paid. And I'll tell you what else we should have done.
Stop telling me what we should have done.
All right, keep your shirt on.
Which do you like? The red or the blue?
What's Barry saying? Is he going to go back to the company?
I like the red, but I don't fit so good these days.
Is he going to try to talk the company up a bit?
And Miss Wiley says another interview will do the job. So I say, what's one more? And I might as well look good, right?
It's worth a try. Don't you think? What if the company came up to $5,000? Would you take it then?
Let them come up. I'm not caving in.
It's called a settlement.
A settlement. Just another way for them to hide.
Let them hide.
Then they win.
So they win. They're going to win anyway.
You know what I found out today? They put lead screens in the laboratory for the technicians. Did they give us lead screens?
What are we doing here?
What do you think? 100 girls, and you think they're going to spend that kind of money on us? And Miss Wiley says they're going to close down
Grace.
here, move across the river.
What are we doing here? I thought the idea was we'd settle your debts, get a better doctor, and get on with things.
Get on with things.
You're still wearing my ring.
Oh, Tommy.
Listen, Grace, there's a house for sale in my brother's neighborhood. 2 rooms up, 2 down. It's not much, but it's a start. You'll like it. It's already got flowered wallpaper. And the best part is, it's only 3 blocks from the school.
What do we need with the school?
Plan ahead for once.
Tommy, what do you think is going to happen? After all this is over, do you think everything is just going to go back to the way it was?
Why wouldn't it?
I gotta see the surgeon again.
Uh-huh.
I got some fluid.
Okay.
And then he says there'll be more.
Deal with it as it comes.
And still more. And then more. And still more. Why can't you see that? How can you go on talking about buying houses and getting married when you know there's nothing?
Grace, I just want for us to be together. Right now, I want to come home to you at night, to my wife, to my home. Too old to be living this in-between life. Grace, come on.
I should have done this a long time ago.
You just need some more sleep, that's all.
Tommy, please don't make me say it.
You're not getting enough rest.
Tommy.
You get some more sleep. I'll come back to see you tomorrow.
Tommy. Tommy, please don't do this to me. Tommy! Tommy, please! Tommy!
February 21st, 1928. To Mr. Raymond Baird, from Pearson Martland. We have examined the remains of the deceased Amelia Maggio. Our study reveals the following. Radioactive substances have been found in large quantities in the upper jaw, lower jaw, and lumbar vertebrae. No evidence of syphilis was found.
Body is radioactive.
Bone of dead girl kicks off gamma rays.
Catherine Wiley of the Consumers League declares new evidence shows company lied.
Dr. Joseph Neff, a Newark dentist, has turned over portions of the jawbone he removed from her mouth. This X-ray film shows the body is still radioactive 5 years after the girl died.
Will this make your case?
Will this force a settlement?
Make our case? No, ladies. This will make our case.
Last night on a graphic exclusive,
Exclusive?
the founder of the Radium Corporation broke his long silence with this shocking announcement.
Radium is one of the most dangerous substances known to man.
Dr. von Stahotsky, is it true you assisted with the autopsy?
Yeah. Given my expertise in radium extraction, I was able to determine Miss Maggie absorbed enough radium to kill 10 people.
What does it say about mild radium therapy?
Radium is responsible for the death of these poor girls. It should be considered a most dangerous substance.
Do you agree with the doctor's prognosis that the radium girls have only 1 year to live?
From what I have seen, they'll be lucky to last that long.
Grace, wake up. It's almost 4 o'clock.
Ma,
Mr. Markley will be here any minute.
did Miss Wiley come by?
Miss Wiley?
She was gonna stop by. They put Catherine back in the hospital last night.
If she dies, it's over. Sweetheart, I'll tell you what. When we get the check and we pay the bank and the doctor and the coal man, there will still be plenty left for you and Tom to help you get started.
Nothing to start, Mom.
Why do you have to be so hard on Tom? Can't you see? You just can't face the thought of you not being with us.
I have to face it. Why can't he?
Do something with your hair, Grace.
$250,000. What would you do with $250,000, Miss Fryer? Huh, why? I can't imagine. Ma, you didn't tell me we had mail. They just keep writing, don't they? She was here. Mom, Miss Wiley was here. She left me a note.
Miss Fryer? Edward Markley.
Ma said you brought some papers.
Yes. Term spelled out, $5,000 to you. You got a check right here. All we need is your signature.
This is a confidential settlement.
That's right.
Grace, Mr. Markley is a busy man.
Mr. Markley, what's contributory negligence?
I'm not sure I know what you're asking.
That's what you said in court. Contributory negligence means it's our fault, don't it?
Maybe you could just leave the papers, Mr. Markley.
Maybe he can just answer the question.
Why are you doing this?
Why didn't you tell me Miss Wiley was here?
She'd only try to talk you out of it.
What did she say about Catherine?
If you'll just leave the papers, Mr. Markley.
What did she say about Catherine?
She said it don't look good.
Perhaps he'll come back later.
I don't think you answered my question, Mr. Markley. And I'd really like an answer. Because let me tell you, at your factory, they told us what to do, how to do it. I didn't make trouble. I did what I was told. So how do you get contributory negligence out of that?
We
deeply regret your situation, Miss Fryer. There's just no evidence connecting your condition to the U.S. Radium Corporation.
Then why are you giving me this money?
It's a humanitarian gesture.
A humanitarian gesture? Month after month you put us off. Delay after delay, knowing how sick we were, how tired, how desperate. Humanitarian. You've been waiting for us to die.
This is a generous offer. I advise you to take it before I'm forced to withdraw it permanently.
You're just trying to bully me.
Very well. See you in court.
Yes, you will. You will see me. I don't care if they have to drag me in their feet first. You call that man fat. Going to court. You know you can't win. I don't care. I want those people to see me and explain to me how it's my fault I got sick. Work in their factory. What good will it do you? Mom! All my life I've done what other people told me to do. I never said, please, can't I go back to school? I never said I didn't like the taste of the paint, Mom. At night, I'd lay in bed and see my dress hanging on the closet door. All aglow my shoes on the floor and my hairbrush on the dresser. So much light, Mom. So much light. And I never once questioned. I never once asked. Don't you see? They knew I wouldn't. That's what they were counting on.
I left messages with your housekeeper. I know you got the messages.
As we are no longer in business together, I thought it best not to respond.
Is that what this is about? Getting revenge?
Revenge.
Losing the company. Losing your business. And now you're getting us back for it? By spreading lies about us?
Perhaps a cup of tea will calm your nerves.
You never said the paint was dangerous. You never said a word about it. Not to me, not to Dad.
I didn't know.
You didn't know. You invented the paint and you didn't know? How could you lie like that?
I didn't know until it was too late, Doctor.
I was not the technical man. You were the technical man.
Yeah, I was the technical man. Sit down, Doctor.
I sold watches. I was a salesman.
And a good one at that. Very good head for the business, you are. Not such a good head for the science, but for the business, very smart. Always you could find ways to cut the costs without losing the quality. That is a gift, Doctor. Why don't you ask?
Oh my God. What's wrong with your hands? Have you been dipping them in ink?
Dipping them in ink? How fond of the pretty story you are. If only it were ink. Dr. Martland tells me it's a necrosis of the tissue. The cells, they are dying. With the dial painters in the jaw it starts, the necrosis. With me, in the hands.
I had no idea.
It's been a long time since we've seen each other.
How long?
The necrosis? A few months. But I've known for a while. Miss Wiley, from the Consumers League, asked me to assist Dr. Martland in testing the girls for radium exposure. There aren't that many people around, you know, to test that kind of thing. She came to me, knowing I had the equipment and, of course, the skill. I didn't want to believe her either, Arthur. I didn't think the girls could get sick from working with my paint. I wanted to show her it was a mistake. So I agreed to help. Dr. Martland and I conducted expired air tests on the girls. And that is when I found out when my own breath registered radioactive. Now, you wish to have some words with me.
I'm sorry.
Perhaps you should see Dr. Markland as well.
Me? What for?
You did not notice the glowing dust on your shoes when you went home at night?
Well, of course I did. I tracked it all over the house.
You can be sure that a great deal of it is now in lungs. Remember this?
Our promotional piece.
An excellent promotion. How many new sales did that book account for?
I didn't track it exactly. I'd like to think it helped our medical market quite a bit.
Page 96. Open it. The last chapter.
Page 96. Radium. Dangerous effects.
Dangerous effects. How many articles do you have listed? 10? 15?
About 18.
How far back do they go, those articles?
I don't know.
Look at it. The first one. What is the date?
1906.
1906. Now let me see. When you go into court, you plan to testify you had no idea radium was dangerous. How do you plan to do that, Arthur? When your own book says that it was? How can you claim that you did not know?
I never really read the book.
How is that?
I never really read the book. I hired a man to put it together. I glanced at the galleys, but I never really read it.
How do you mean you never read the book?
It was a standard arrangement. An outside company put the piece together. They were responsible for all of the content.
Which you never read.
I think you will find, Mr. Barry, that very few company presidents read their own promotional pieces word for word.
It has your name on it. You authorized its release, and you had final approval of its content. Yet you claim you never read it.
Mr. Lee was responsible for our promotional efforts at the time. I entrusted those responsibilities to him.
So, Mr. Roeder, you claim you began at the U.S. Radium Corporation in 1918?
Yes, as a plant manager.
And how long did you hold that position?
About 4 years.
4 years. How many times in those 4 years would you say you ventured into the studio?
Every day.
Every day. So you must have observed the girls point the brushes on their lips.
I don't recall.
You don't recall. You're saying you went into the studio every day, and you claim you did not witness a single girl point a brush on her lips.
I said I don't recall.
No more questions.
Your witness, Mr. Markley? The defense has no questions for this witness, Your Honor. All right, gentlemen, please approach. I'm ready to issue my ruling.
Your Honor, we have yet to present a defense.
I realize that, Mr. Markley, but this proceeding is to determine standing. I've heard enough these 2 days to make that determination. The radium in the bones of these girls is an ongoing source of poison in their system. Nothing your witness can say will change that fact. In the interest of justice, I'm asking the defense to rest their case without calling any witnesses. We can conclude this hearing today and schedule this case for trial.
All right, Your Honor.
Fine. I therefore rule that the statute of limitations has not been exhausted, and these girls have standing to sue.
Your Honor, one thing. I have a very full schedule with 2 cases pending, and a key witness will not be available until after the summer. We won't be available until September.
Your Honor,
I'm sorry, Your Honor, but our key witness is associated with a higher institution of learning. This is the busiest time of year for him. I can't expect him to appear.
Your Honor, this is Mr. Markley's fault. He has continually requested delays.
Surely you won't force us to present our defense at trial without the presence of our key witness, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Markley. Trial is set for September. This hearing is adjourned.
Edward, why can't Markley appear?
He's in Europe.
Europe, but he's known about this for months. Why would he? Very clever, Edward. How long do you plan to keep this up?
As long as necessary.
That girl over there. She won't stop staring at me. How do I make her understand? I never wanted this to happen.
You don't. You don't talk to her, it'll make her understand.
She looks like death.
They all look like death.
Grace.
That man, Miss Wiley, he wouldn't look at me. He would never look at me.
Doesn't matter, Grace. He heard you.
Hundreds worked for us. Then dozens died.
And they won their case?
No. Never got to trial. We settled. It made big headlines. $10,000 for each girl, medical bills for life. Which wasn't all that long. Some. That's where she sat. The fastest girl on the floor. In the courtroom that day, I caught her looking at me with so much anger in her eyes.
Oh, Papa.
I looked away. But after, on the steps outside, I had a chance to speak with her.
What did you say?
Nothing. I said nothing. I couldn't speak.
He was afraid to speak.
I had my chance, and I couldn't speak.
That man was afraid of me.
How was I to explain to her? I had a responsibility to my shareholders.
It wasn't your fault. They didn't know about things like that then. Science just wasn't as advanced the way it is now.
You know, I think back on those days sometimes. Coming up those steps to this room, filled with light, chalky, like an old schoolroom. And all of the girls, schoolgirls really, bent to the task. Their delicate little hands moving so quickly, no man could work the way those girls did. So careful, so fast. Their brushes, the dials, the paint, and the dials to the paint. To their lips. Try as I might, Harriet, try as I might. I cannot remember their faces. I never saw their faces.
get enough appreciation for it. We are all so thankful for your help.
And we bought our director, Dan Pronley, Crocs, but he's at an auction, so we did thank him as well.